Hey guys, Dantix here, bringing you the first of many Cyberpunk build videos. Do you like living out that John Wick, Hitman, or James Bond fantasy? Do you want to sneak around and do some of the highest base damage in the game, instantly killing almost every enemy? Well, I have the perfect build for you. I'll be going through attributes you need, the skills, perks, weapons, and cyberware, as well as giving you a decent showcase of what you can do with this lethal as hell build. So, let's shake it up. Before we start, just letting you know that I'm ongoingly giving away copies of the game and many others to subscribers of the channel and my socials. Also, be sure to join the chat on my Discord where you can discuss all things gaming and drop your photo mode snaps. I might even use them in a thumbnail. So let's begin with attributes. If you don't know the basics of how attribute skills and perks work, I highly recommend checking out the video below. You can raise your attributes to a maximum of 6 when you start a character, so the first thing you're going to want to do is knock both reflex and cool up to 6. These are your two most important attributes. The third is up to you. I went with technical ability in order to buff explosives and tech weapon damage, but going intelligence in order to disable cameras is just as viable early on, as is body in order to get some extra tankiness. You want to pick up a pistol as soon as you can, but don't worry, they're everywhere. Keep an eye out for a muzzle though, which is the most important part of this build. Fairly early on you should be able to buy one or craft one. It multiplies the damage you do while undetected by double, as well as makes your shots silent. Better quality muzzles increase the damage multiplier. It does, however, reduce base damage, so be sure to have your primary pistol muzzleless for when the action starts. Instead, attach the muzzle to a pistol which has the highest base damage, not to be confused with DPS. Base damage matters as you'll be taking single shots at targets, not sustaining a high rate of fire while you're in stealth. You want to be a one shot, one kill, and bigger numbers yield bigger criticals. Typically revolvers have the highest base damage, but due to their slow rate of fire, the DPS is kept down. So a combat focused muzzleless pistol and a stealth focused silenced pistol is all you really need to make this build shine. During the main storyline, after getting the chip, you'll need to head back to Lizzie's to check in with Judy and find out what's happened to her friend and your contact. On the table in the club will be the Lizzie pistol. This is the strongest pistol you can get early on, and if you keep upgrading it, it'll take you through until the end game. It's devastating, burns targets alive, and can be held and charged to pierce through cover. You'll need to craft or find a revolver for stealth, or attach a muzzle to the Kongu, which you get from Yorinobu Arasaka's bedside table during the heist mission. See my best pistol video for what weapon you should be aiming for late game for a combat handgun. For late game silenced handguns, when you meet River, see his questline until completion. We'll be a little waiting for him to call during his individual quests, but in the end, you'll get a beast handgun that has crazy high base damage and a large headshot multiplier. You won't need anything else for stealth. When it comes to items, simply equip the best armor you can find. There really isn't much more to it than that. When it comes to cyberware, since money is tight, you want to be saving primarily for the Dynela Sandivistan MK4, or however you pronounce it. I'm just going to call it Sandy Vision. It requires a lot of reflex to equip and costs over 30,000 eddies. Also, before you can even buy it, you need to pay Victor, your local Ripper Doc, back the money you owe him. That's what good mates do. Equipping this operating system means you'll no longer be able to hack things, but provides an insane boon. By holding E, you slow time. You move at normal speed during this, allowing you to line up shots in relative safety. It also increases your base damage. I also managed to slot in some mods which removed all burn, shock, poison, and bleed effects when activated, as well as increasing my crit chance. It's truly an insane piece of kit, and when you consider that the effect lasts 16 seconds with only a 30-second cooldown, you'll be able to use this more often than you can't, making fights a lot easier for you. Another good piece of cyberware is the Kolesnikov, which slows time when aiming during a slide or a dodge. Also, it lets you aim and shoot while dodging. Alongside this, you can equip a reflex booster which slows time again when your health drops to 25%. If you have the spare cash, tune your cyberware as you see fit. When you reach 20 street cred, you may consider getting an arm-based cyberware, but none of the 4 are really needed for this build, as you won't be getting into melee range really ever, and you won't need loud explosive missiles when you have grenades for that purpose. Put enough points into Cool to get the key perks, and then you want to dump everything into Reflex until it's maxed out. After it's maxed out though, put everything into Cool. What's most important though is to make sure you're always sneaking around in combat areas and using your pistols, as it's the only way your skill levels will raise, which not only makes you stronger, but grants you bonus perk points. Perks are what really make your character shine, and there are a few ones required for this build. The first perk I recommend you get is a little left of field, but it's very handy. It's a long-term payoff. Jump over to the Cold Blood perk tree and put a single point into Cold Blood. Every time you kill an enemy, you'll get a small movement speed boost, relatively useless except that every time it procs, you'll gain Cold Blood skill experience, eventually unlocking skill progression rewards, the first of which boosts your crit chance by a huge 10%. And the 4th and 5th Cold Blood skill level, your perk points will be repaid. It's the most useful single perk in the game, and later on we'll be expanding this tree out and getting more use out of the buff. The first perk you'll be happier to invest in, as you'll notice the difference immediately, is Silent and Deadly. 25% is a huge amount when multiplied by other, well, multipliers. Sniper is another. It gives you 50% more damage if you get a headshot outside of combat, which is what you'll primarily be going for. Then we have the less important Strike from the Shadows and Assassin. Strike from the Shadows gives you a 15% boost to your crit chance, which will already be high, and Assassin will simply increase your base damage against humans by 15%, which are your primary targets anyway. Once you get cool to level 11, drop a point into the Cold Blood perk Frozen Precision, as it just straight up increases headshot damage by 50%, and I don't need to explain to you why that's insanely good. Moving over to handgun perks, Rio Bravo is one of the first you can get and will increase the headshot damage multiplier with handguns by 30%. You see how our perks are starting to cross-contaminate here? Well, buckle up. With a fistful of Eurodollars, our crit damage is increased by 20%, and we should already be critting like an insane person. Or maybe insanity isn't enough for you, in which case Westworld increases your crit chance by 10% if your pistols are fully modded, which they always should be. Keep in mind these perks are unlocked with attribute investment, so when it comes to pistol perks, get them in the order you unlock them. Desperado is one you can get early and simply increases the damage of your handguns by 10%, which is a good perk to dump spare points into. Grand Finale makes it so your last round deals double damage. Solo clip handguns will benefit most from this, but a smart gamer will unload all but one bullet in order to sneakily take out a high value target guaranteed. With all multipliers up to this point, there shouldn't be anything in the game that can survive a final bullet headshot from you. What really rounds it all out though is Wild West, arguably the best perk you can get from this build. It's deceptively innocent, all tucked away there, but once you get this, no matter the range of your enemies, you can blow their heads off. Suddenly, you're more effective at sniping than a sniper with a sniper rifle. Combine this with long shot drop pop, which increases the damage by 25% if they're over 5 meters away, and you just hit the money, friend. So those are the most important perks you can get. Obviously the rest of the perks in the handgun tree is quite effective, especially since they continue to raise your prowess with handguns, the primary method of your damage dealing. You could also at this point start investing into the Cold Blood tree and make those Cold Blood and Frozen Precision perk points less lonely. Depends on what you want though. The pistol tree will improve your pistols and Cold Blood will make you much tankier. This is the choice you're going to need to make on your own, or you can dump points into crafting and even engineering if you want to focus on tech weapons, as engineering drastically increases their effectiveness. The Lizzie pistol would appreciate this, however some great weapons are power based. So how does this all work? It's simple, sneak around. When you see enemies, pop your sandy vision and launch a bullet into their brains, which will get 15% bonus damage. As you're stealthed as well, you'll get the 25% increase from Silent and Deadly, 50% from Sniper, 15% from Assassin, 30% from Rio Bravo, 10% from Desperado, 50% from Frozen Precision, and 25% from Long Shot Drop Pop. Then there's the bonus to crit chance from the Sandy Vision, 15% from Strike from the Shadows, and 10% from Westworld. Your crit damage will be increased by 20% from Fistful of Eurodollars, and don't forget the increases you get from attributes and skill progression rewards. If that's not enough, all those crazy boosts will be doubled if you hit the enemy with your last bullet thanks to Grand Finale. Even when you're detected, you are more than capable of holding your own with your combat-based pistol and sandy vision to get you out of trouble. Don't forget to slide and dodge, as this will activate more bullet time thanks to the Kreznikov, as it also keeps you out of melee range as well. Keep in mind, when you do finally buy sandy vision, you'll no longer be able to hack, so be sure to silently take out cameras in the area with your muzzled pistol, or the jig will be up. Not that you won't be able to absolutely destroy things when it is. And there we have it, a sneaky, high damage pistol-based assassin build. One of the many you can try when running through Cyberpunk 2077, but one of the highest damage dealing builds you will find. Thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, you know what to do. It helps me out a lot. Be sure to join the conversation and check out my socials. For everything Cyberpunk, you're already in the right place. Ciao, friends.